So more Astral to be made for us today. Second video of the week, and this is gonna be 40 something minutes. It's really good. Nothing much else to say, but like, yeah, this took 40 minutes. I know that I did this recording all in one day, but the first file took me a while to do, so that's pretty much how it is. This video is almost like 38 minutes, so that's a good time to just sit down and grab some popcorn, look at something while you're doing it. But the rounds have been getting longer, and I've been progressively getting more and more patient towards my my thing around this. And it shows more in this one, but I know next episode it shows more during it shows more during those. And I know that I don't know if I'm actually gonna have the third file, because when we just raw recording wise, I was already at like 50 minutes with just 2 cases. It was so fucking long, because patience is a virtue, but Jesus Christ, this patience create a lot of downtime. But how this whole thing works is that it's only like 3 to 4 rounds, and this one took me like 4 to 5 tries to do, because I consistently kept dying in the final one, and then I got too greedy and died in the second one like 2 times. But nothing too major, nothing too big. It's just some pretty short fights. The last fight is the one I can see people getting the most trouble, because it gave me the most trouble, because you're fighting both the 2 versions of Jenna, Asymptote, and Aberrant. Aberrant from basically Arc Mall and the near latter half, where you find on the police HQ in File 9, and Asymptote, which is basically her fused form when you fight her near the end of File 9. But yeah, the first fight is against Pygmalion, which is pretty simple. You can use the Pygmalion to grab your HP back, which is very, very helpful. And then Kyle. Kyle's a special issue, because since he doesn't give you HP back and he can wallop you for very massive damage, your best bet is to just sit down, try to stun him as well with the Pygmalion, and combo the both of them, so you can grab your perfect round. The only problem with Kyle is that his smoke bombs are going to be the biggest problem to make it to the end. Round 2 is against the Hecate and a Minotaur. And when I first did this fight, like 2 times, what I usually did was just go against the Minotaur, because it is a faster version of the like the arm type enemies, arm type, because it does a lot of damage and can get more of a detect out, which will deplete your HP bar if you're not careful. But when I do these fights more before or after that, I kept trying to take out the Hecate, because the Hecate is more annoying in the sense of, if you don't have super armor, its pot shots will take you out of during certain combo moves. It will deplete your blue shield more and more as well. And other than that, the slime that will show up at the bottom also just sucks. But every time I did that, it gave me a problem of dealing with the Minotaur. The Minotaur kept depleting my HP to the point where I just couldn't feasibly do that for longer. But yeah, no, I just did it normally. So I just took out the Minotaur first, then took out the Hecate, and then the last one would be against both Jennas, which basically the both Jenna fight took me the longest, and also just was like the hardest part of doing this case. And if I sound pretty tired and I keep stopping commentary in the middle of it, I don't know how I got very tired today. It's a pretty chill morning outside, so probably why I am pretty lackadaisical right now, pretty just on the way to just stay in bed all day. But I have to sit down, I have to do voiceovers and all that. So nothing I can do on that front. Just suck it up and go. But next one is the final one, and if anything, from what I learned on the previous rounds of just learning how to do this, I just put or drank an energy drink to get the attack boost I needed to knock out at least one of them, not in one round, but just use my advantage of it. But the more problem would be Asymptote Jenna instead of Aberrant Jenna, because Asymptote Jenna has multiple multiple hard-hitting attacks, where I think I know one of the rounds I was in cleanly did like 800 damage to me. And one of the previous few times I used a barrier shield in the entire playthrough, because it does help out to just have it for all these attacks. Anyway, at that point, I have used every single like medicine and full medicine I had, so I had to use the second energy drink, which gives me more defense and armor at the cost of like 50% health, which was good against the Asymptote, or yeah, against Asymptote because of how low her HP bar was. But for Anderson, or for Aberrant, it kind of becomes annoying. But the whole strategy with the Jenna Aberrant is to wait until she attacks, then stun her with Howl, and then do slow shot if you want. But just Howl, get your power charge back up, and you can just deal damage with the Axe Legion spin cycle, and you'll be fine on that front. Don't waste your buff on attack, just prog it up after a Howl and you'll be fine. Also, literally the majority of this fight is just me running from Jenna on the Beast Legion, because you are comparable to her run speed on the Beast Legion ride, but there's one attack where she goes up to you and takes you out of your Legion with like the little cutscene that happens, and that is the only one that does a lot of damage to you to just cleanly knock you up. But it becomes annoying after a while, especially if you're trying to fight Jenna with other enemies around. But near the end, since I had like blue shields up, I just kept going on the aggressive and trying to knock her out. This fight's not that bad. The only problems are literally the last three. Yeah, the only problem would be like the last three cases, or the last fight, round 3 of that fight, which sucks. But yeah, no, if you play patiently, you'll play nice, and you'll be able to you'll be able to deal with the problems with Jenna. But the next two are longer than that case because of the amount of enemies, and also they are longer because of the amount of rounds that they have. Number 13 was pretty short in. Yeah, number 13 was pretty short in the fights with 2 each and all that. But after that, 14 and 15 are pretty decently long for their chapter length. And the reason why my camera went so high was because I was doing something, and my controller just fell off the table, which made the camera go up because it landed on the right stick. It was funny, but like, Jesus, it kind of annoy me. But now we're at round 14, zone 36. Just another time for some fun, and this one is not that bad. Yeah, like this one is not that bad at all. I enjoyed it, and if anything, it was a pretty good gauntlet for a specific type of enemy. And if anything, I'm very happy with the run I did on this one, especially since I didn't expect this round to be like this. Round 14, we're back on the roof where we fought Homunculus Gamma. And we are fighting every single dark enemy variant for the Chimeras. So the first round is up against Agamemnon, which is the dark version of the humanoid enemies. And it's going to be a pattern with the rest of the fights that keep on going. We are fighting every single dark enemy, which is the hardest enemy that they have for the game in this fight. So we're first fighting Agamemnon, and then after that we can be fighting like Kalino or something like that. We're not fighting them in the order of the I don't think we're fighting them in the order of the compendium, because I know Agamemnon is first. And if you're thinking that there's another like dark enemy for the humanoids, it's only Agamemnon. If you're thinking of like Hector, that's a good guess, but Hector is a normal enemy, and the only difference between dark-skinned enemies and normal enemies is that normal enemies can be grabbed in with Gravity Storm, and if you stun a normal enemy during an attack, their attack stops, and then you can stun them, while the darker enemies don't get pushed or pulled in by Gravity Storm, and when they're in the middle of the attack and get stunned, the attack still shows up, and then they get stunned. Next fight is Tartarus and Salatus, which is very cool that we have to see him again. And Salatus is not that bad. He's still one of the first enemies we fought in the game, so his HP still scales to our HP scales to him and all that. So we just take out chunks of his HP bar to give us a free win. Do be careful about his gun attacks though, because they will be annoying to deal with and all that. Next one up is Hecate. Hecate will be one of the more annoying ones, in a sense of just trying to land a hit on her, because we all know what Hecate does at this point. When her HP bar gets below like half. But in this scenario in general, it's more in the sense that if you get her down to half and she's near the edge, there's nothing you can do against her unless like you find a way to take her out before that happens. Having anti-slime would be very beneficial in this fight because of Hecate, and that would be the only reason why. But nothing much else. Just grabbing her into an area where you can't have that's what I'm worse at it. Where you can or where you don't have any slime, and you'll be fine to just knock her out. But this is a pretty simple fight and all that. I really do like this fight, and this is one of the quote-unquote final chances you have to take a picture of every single dark-skinned enemy. I don't know why I keep saying dark skin. Just every dark enemy. So if you haven't gotten a picture of every dark enemy, go ahead. It's one of your few chances to do it. I know during this fight, since I saw a second puddle, I just went for a stinger gun. Like a stinger input with the blaster mode of the X-Baton, which gives me a good chance to just shoot it out of the sky and all that. After I can take those down, the puddles will go away and all that. And then we get to fight Deimos. The only dark enemy for the elemental type, but Deimos sucks for that reason. Anti-burn, anti-flame would be great for this fight, especially since all of his attacks are flame-oriented. Just pile on the damage and you'll keep him stunned for a while. And once he loses his fire, it's game time to just sit down and take him for all he's worth. So, it's a good thing to just remember that by. Also, having Stun Grenade is very helpful in this fight because of the whole the whole thing of just keeping him in a corner and keeping him stunned without fire for long. So it's really great to remind yourself about that. And yes, this fight does take a while because it's basically like 8 to 9 fights of just these enemies. And I don't think they drag on. I think they stay for like the right amount of time. But it is like 8 to 9 of these dark enemies back to back to back. And some of them are annoying to fight by themselves. But it's lucky that they're fighting you by themselves and not as a group, if with that one boss in round 3 was with like combination of Cerberus and Tartarus, or Agamemnon and Hecate. So right now we're gonna fight Kalino. Kalino's a pretty simple one. The only problem is that with winged enemies or aerial type enemies, they always fly too high for you to hit with your Gladius and all that. So do be mindful of that. Just knocking it down will be great. Doing enough damage to just knock it out would be even more beneficial. Simple fight to do. 3 ability cores are great though. And next one up is Tartarus. And speaking of Tartarus, good old P3R came out, and for the hour I played it on my pretty crappy ass laptop that I used to record, it's not that bad. Like, it actually runs pretty decently well, so I may have a chance to just sit down and play Persona 3, but I'm probably just waiting until a brand new computer to play it and give the game its justice, quote unquote, but that's just me. Next one up is Echidna, and Echidna just sucks the whole reasons I said during that one case in round 2, or round 3, the beginning, where it's more of a game of, not chicken, but a game of like severe awareness of when can you stay there and attack and do 360s to plant a bomb on him, and when are times you have to disengage from Echidna so he doesn't do its pretty powerful attacks. Its fireballs can be avoided with the Beast Legion Ride, which is very, very helpful. But once you get stunned with both stun and slow, you can use that time to just wail on the damage with the Axe Legion, and especially if you have it powered up. But yeah, just a game of patience, just a game of when should you disengage and not get stun locked. Like on 2 more fights left, and I think the last 2 fights are pretty, or no, after Cerberus is the last 2 fights, which are gonna be pretty annoying. Cerberus is not that bad. It's one of the enemies we fought back in case 3. Pretty simple to do and all that, and just having both Speed Star and Power Star will help us a lot in trying to give all the damage to Cerberus and knock him out pretty simple. And then the last 2 are going to be pretty annoying in the sense that these enemies suck on their own, and if you take too long they will be annoying in their own right. Lampus and then Ares. Lampus, you guys see my gripes with Lampus, especially during that one case where I had to legit knock out most of his most of his goodies with a grenade and all that. Also, we get to a point where having to call my Legion, and I keep getting the Sword Legion because I don't know, the game does not read my my hold Y input, or the hold Y, or just the game lag, and doesn't read it or that, and it doesn't give me like the reticle, the circle for the legions where I can go choose the game. The only problem, I wouldn't say this with Lampus, so the only problem with Lampus would be its Gladius mode, or when it has its broadsword and its cannon, because the cannon can do more than half your health, so do be mindful of that. Last fight is not that hard, it's a pretty simple fight, but I can see people still getting annoyed with it, is the Ares fight. Ares is a pretty big slime boy. You have fought him before in other cases. I know the previous case, the previous episode, we had an Ares in that case with the amount of enemies that showed up. And this one is no slouch either. The problem is literally once it gets to these diversions still do pretty massive damage for a small guy and all that, and Ares still does massive damage for being a smaller version of himself. But the only good part about Ares is that once it does this little scenario of he splits up, any of his diversions get pretty low on HP, you can use that as a chance to heal and get your HP back to full. So a double-edged sword and all that, a blessing in disguise, but do be mindful of what's going to happen. Every time he jumps up, it's a perfect opportunity to just dodge out of the way with both you and your Axe Legion. But with that fight is pretty much over. And it's a pretty simple fight. I love the fight because it's just all of the very hard enemies, dark enemies in the entire game. Especially with the final inclusion of Ares, which you get at the first boss. But neither than that. But I know the next one, since we're 20 minutes in, takes 17 minutes in a way. And that's going to be a fun one to sit down and watch. Especially with doing commentary at the same time. But nothing much else to say on that front. Really do I am happy that I did that case on my first attempt, because I know basically I was losing steam at this point from the first one. Very surprised that 14 took me one try, and I think 15 took me as well, like one try, but one long ass try. I'm just reading something on my phone, sorry guys. But what do you call it? This fight is decently long, and the amount of enemies you have to fight is decently massive. It's like a mini W, a mini boss arena, because we're back at the police HQ. And I can see people using this time to just get themselves prepared, grab some like water or some snack to keep them entertained and keep them here. Oh Jesus, cold's giving me more of the sniffles than I expected. But nothing on that front. Just keep on moving forward and these fights are pretty simple. Licensed Infantry, Ice Maiden, Diomedes has claws, wolves and Alos, or wolves and hawks. Price and a Hestias, Briareos and a Brute, 3 fireballs and 3 hydras, Laios, Alo, wolf and hydra, each of the shells, Zeus and his company, Homunculus Gamma, and then after that some aberration. And I will say this before they even show up: the rounds with the wolves and the hawks are together. I just have to separate them before I make the font on the clipboard even more small, to the point where it's very impossible to read. And the round with the Laius, Wolf, Hydra, and Alo with the 4 different types of shells are also the same round. And that one took me a while because of the annoyance that is called the shell enemies. And God, next episode I have another word to say about those enemies. I will leave it at this then. That is like the 3rd most patient I've been. Yeah, like that episode has been the 3rd most patient I've ever been in my life as a video game player. And I'm counting times I've actually played in online sets in Smash Brothers, either through tournaments or through just free-for-all. And yeah, no, that's like the 3rd most I've been that passive. Because you're designed to be passive for that one. But that's for next time, not this time. And this time, we're just fighting the Diomedes and 6 claws. Get them all bundled up with one Gravity Storm, and you'll be able to get them mostly all knocked down. You can have like the last Diomedes be a refill. Yeah, it can be a refill on your health. Very good to you to learn of what happened. And other than that, nothing much to do on that front, because it's mostly just the same enemies. Here's the round with both of the wolf enemies and the hawk enemies. And they're all together, which is a very good thing to just proc up a gravity storm, proc up a stun, and then go to town with your Axe Legion spin cycle. Because you'll have a shower of explosions and a shower of I won't say red matter, but like a matter of like energy. There you go, energy for your like god, so your legion will go up. Also, that one attack that just showed up was the first time I've ever seen it, and it's kind of cool. Like during the middle of recording, that actually surprised me at what it was, because the Zangetsu is different from this Zangetsu. It was kind of cool, but I don't know how you grab it if it's basically just dodging and doing the A-button at the same time and all that, like a different input. Mono. But near the end of this round, we get to go to the other round, which is great. And there we go, a low down. I think next one is the Cryus and Hestia. And that's been a fun time. Cryus is not that bad. Cryus is a pretty simple enemy. The only problem is it's pretty fast and will do a lot of damage to you. And the Hestias are more of a problem because they disappear. Gravity Storm's like the only way you can grab them with a single attack. And because they disappear after a while, your normal attack will not reach them unless you have the Axe Legion or the Beast Legion to just snuff them out. But yeah, do be mindful during this part of the fight. The Cry section can be pretty annoying, especially with the Hestias taking pot shots at you, and especially with the targeting reticle of this game being the best in the world. Just be mindful of what's going to happen and all that. Once you're getting into the Hestias, you just ride your Beast Legion and stun them with Howl if you can, but mostly just stick with using your normal baton mode and blaster mode for them, and do be mindful of what to do after the fact. But Hestias are going down now. I think there's like one more during the fight, or if not, I took on both of them during it. Now we get up against the Briareus and the Brute. Only problem with this fight is since they're both like beast type enemies, they do more damage, and the only problem with this fight would be the Brute, since its attacks are electric imbued, meaning he can stun you to how high water and back. So focus him, take him out first, and once you get to the point where both the Briareus and the Brute are attacking you the most, doing slow attack with your Arrow Legion would be great, since it slows both of them down and you can use that time to heal or just think of what you're gonna do next. Oh yeah, no, nothing much else to say on that fight. Just take out the Brute first, since he's more of an asshole than Briareus. But yeah, near the end of this, but we were only at like 35% of the fight. This one takes a long time. It's like a diet W, and I did not expect myself to do a diet W in this case, but for the real W case, or next episode. Jesus Christ! Like I'll be a little honest right now. I have done two rounds for that fight, like 2 rounds for that episode. And the day before, it got up to almost like an hour length of recording, like 40 minutes, I think. It was just me being a patient son of a gun. Meaning, if I do that last one, I don't know how long it's going to be, especially after just bringing it down to the, basically bringing it down to the best round I did, mistakes and all. So, I don't know how long that video is going to be, if I'm actually going to keep it. By the time you see the episode and you only see like 2 rounds, then you'll understand that I took out the final round and just saved it for its own video. But Jesus, permanently. It is so decently long. But yeah, just have some fun on this front and all that. Patience is the virtue this game has taught you. So don't be afraid to just take a break when you can if the game is pissing you off with its rounds. 40% done. We just gotta take out the remaining Hydra that has survived the fight from our excursion with the fireballs, and we'll be fine. Fuck, I'm tired, so. But you still gotta do what you gotta do. Next coming up is just the 4 first type enemies and their shields, their respective shields. So basically, patience is a virtue. Every enemy is gonna be stuck there with its own attack. So your best bet is to just deal with their shields first. Prog up a blue shield if you can. And just have some fun. The first pretty easy one is Care. But the only problem with Care's sync attack after its slash is that most likely if you have a bunch of groups of enemies, you'll just stop attacking and get stunned, especially with the Sword Legion doing a lot of slashes. Next pretty simple one is either the Beast or the Axe Shell. The Beast Shell, you can just have the Beast Legion go down, and having a simple grenade do a chunk of damage before you take it off is a pretty good strategy as well. And then next one would be the one you didn't take out first. So for me, I took out the Beast Shell first and then took out the Axe Shell. And every time I did this, take out a shell and went to the next one, if I had slow shot or how activated, I did it to slow down the enemy so I can actually have a chance to sit down with these shells and take them out. The last one is always for me the arrow shell because it's more of an annoyance to pick up and go. And basically I had 3 enemies left, and the only one that was being shielded was a Hydra, which is not that bad. Yeah, the Hydra's not that bad to deal with its shots from afar, so just took out these 3 enemies before diverting my attention to the Hydra. But yeah, no, the Hydra is pretty simple enemy to just deal with, especially since apparently I took out the arrow shell way earlier into the fight than I expected it to be. But yeah. This round with the separate toads and all that, the frogs and all that, it's not that bad. I just find it funny that this fight is just with Zeus and it's 3 smaller versions. I'm gonna keep calling the Ice Toad by accident a Hades and its versions, and just 1 normal frog just shows up. Also, I just fused in so I can 1, get the achievement I needed, and 2, just knock these enemies out faster. Because once you're done with the round, it automatically takes you out from using any more of the fused Legion form. So it's pretty good. So if you know that you're gonna be using it for a short time, half the time of the fused Legion, go ahead, have fun, use it. The Homunculus Gamma fight is more annoyance with not being able to stun him, not being able to slow him. The only thing you can do is drink energy drinks to increase your speed, having power charge for your Legion as well to increase your power. Stated before in the listings for the enemies, at 66% health, so when 1/3 of his HP bar is gone, Homunculus Gamma will have aberrations show up. and it's just an unlimited amount of aberrations until you beat Homunculus Gamma, and they go in range of like normal homunculus or normal aberrations with sword and shield, and access to some filth wings with gladiuses and glyphs, some aberration with gladius and glyphs, pretty good pot shotters as well. Just do be mindful that they are here to interrupt what you're doing, and also that if you have run out of like items to use during this case or during this fight with Homunculus Gamma, it's gonna be more of an annoyance to just sit down and use. Also, great camera. But we're almost nearing the end. We just have to beat 1-2 aberrations and we're done. Pretty simple, but this case was a pretty diet W case. And with that, we are just done with this episode. 10 minutes with that, and just me not getting as much patient as I needed to be. But yeah, no. If you don't, and I will say this again, if you only see 2 like cases for the next episode and a pretty abrupt cut, then you know that that video took way longer than I expected it to be. But that's for the next episode and not for today. Today we did 3. At this point, we have 5 cases left in the game. 2 normal ones, 1 boss, 1 W, and the final case for us to do in Astral Chain. So we are nearing the end of this LP, folks. I can almost see the vindication in me using this. 66 out of 71 cases done. But yeah, no. Next time on Astral Chain, we're probably either going to be doing 2 or 3 more cases. Probably mostly 2. But that's for you guys to see in the next episode and for me to figure out when I get out of the editing chamber. And that's it for today. To the computer.